I was talking and seeing angels. My whole life flashed before my eyes. It was almost like I died.
Ugh. Wow.
Seriously, it was like I died. Anything I ever did wrong in my life was brought before me.
Oh my God.
It was very traumatic. Coming out of that, it took about 6 to 8 months before I could even say a word or two. I knew something was wrong. I couldn't think. The doctors would come to me every day and they would be like, I want you to remember this word. And then they would come back the next day. I couldn't remember it. The medications that were given to me, medications that you wouldn't think they could cause such a bad reaction.
Really?
But when they got mixed, it was just terrible. I knew something was wrong and I needed to fix it. I searched everything. I started digging deep into hermetic wisdom, ancient knowledge, trying to find something that wasn't there. I found that when you put certain ingredients together for an overall outcome, that it is possible. It is possible to have excellent brain cognition.
What's up, everyone? What's up, DJ?
What's going on?
So we got DJ on the house. Welcome to the Liftoff Experience. So viewers and listeners out there, sorry, I know there's a little bit of a week lull with no episode. It's summertime right now. To give you frame of reference, we're in 2025 when you're listening to this 10 years into the future. No, but for real, it's where are we at today, man? What's today's date? It's going to be June 27th of 2025 at 2:16. Kids are in the pool. Where's Jen at? Jen, can we see you? There she is. What's up, Jen? She's behind the scenes. She's actually 4 weeks now with Liftoff Agent, who sponsors the show. She's crushing it behind the scenes. You and I got connected from a gentleman that is actually on the show. So you're going to go check out Travis's show. And so I brought the GTR and you saw it out front.
Super nice.
I appreciate you. And you had the Camaro.
Had the Camaro. Friday got into a wreck. Somebody just pulled right out in front of me and
So far you don't know what's happening. It's just kind of like the beginning stages.
It's in the beginning stages. Got a rental. The insurance companies don't know if they want to pay for it yet, so I'm just paying.
Why do we pay all this money for insurance, bro? You know what I'm saying? It's just like they don't know if they're gonna pay for it, really.
Yeah, it takes forever.
Yeah.
You know, I got a lawyer, and she straight up told me, she's like, I'll contact you every 2 weeks, and
Wow.
it's gonna take a while.
Wow. But you know, if you ever been to Arizona and anyone's viewing and listening, you see the signs everywhere. It's like lawyer, accident, yada yada. And it was funny before we got on the air, he's just like, Lord, I just want to get paid. I want some money. And the next thing you know,
That I was like, God, that is not what I was talking about. So I learned a lesson. It's been a long time since I prayed for myself. I always pray for other people.
yeah, amen.
And God has a weird way
Yeah.
of giving you what you need.
Dude, 100%, man, 100%. I love that. Hey, we're gonna pop at the picture so you can see the car. Beautiful blue 50th anniversary SS Camaro,
Right.
and then you can see the aftermath. Thanks so much, Raina, for popping that in there. And I'm excited because for all of you who are tuning in right now, we're gonna get into DJ's backstory because it's pretty phenomenal, and what he's doing to help you be able to improve your brain, cognitive functions, what have you. I know that you want to, let's put out a little disclaimer. I'll let you do the disclaimer real quick so we're on the same page, because we want to make sure you understand that this is not approved by the FDA by any means.
That's right.
But go ahead and take it away.
So these statements in this podcast and some of the things we're going to talk about, they have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. And this product is not intended to diagnose, or treat, or cure, or prevent any diseases.
Got it. All right, cool. Y'all heard it. All right, so I want to get, so this is first and foremost, DJ's never really put himself out there. Now, I'm going to put his link to his Instagram down below right now, and tell us what's the name of the company. I know you're about to go live here soon.
So my company is Philosopher's Fuel. We're releasing our flagship product, Neuro Alchemy, next month,
Okay.
and it's very exciting. Just a little while ago, you said you're going to get my backstory, and I just want to tell you guys, if my face start looking a little weird, I'm in pain. My L1 vertebrae has a compression fracture. My wrist is hurting. I accidentally left my brace, but
Mm,
so just bear with me.
okay.
I'm gonna roll right through this.
You got this, man. You got this, bro. It's all good. So you can check out the Instagram. It's down below. If you are can write this down or have your cell phone or what have you, the Instagram is going to be EL. I just spelled out for y'all. ELEVATEWITHFUEL. Now the
Elevate
man
with fuel.
Elevate with Phil, and the man over here doesn't have any pictures or anything. So I was like, dude, let's get you out there because from the sponsor of the show, we're all about transparency, putting yourself out there, building that know, like, trust, right?
That's
And
right.
it happens from like a parasocial type situation. So let's take this back before you got into this because not only that, you also recovered from, was it like drugs and alcohol?
Yeah, a long time ago, I struggled with addiction. Didn't know how to cope with things at a young age. Had some very traumatic things happen to me. I won't get into them too deeply, but yeah, the 20th, I'll have 3 years clean and sober.
Congratulations, bro. That's awesome. Let's go. And at the end of the day, I think anyone who's going or struggling through that, I
Mhm.
mean, dude, just high on life, bro.
You know, it's kind of a little touchy subject, because there's such a big stigma
Mm-hmm.
on drug and alcohol addiction,
Mm,
but there's one thing that I've learned.
mm,
If you can overcome that,
mm-hmm.
you can do anything,
Oof.
for real. So a lot of the people that I have met in recovery, and they have done some miraculous things, man.
Wow.
The adversity that they overcame, the challenges, the struggles, it's not a very easy thing to do.
No.
And some of these people have been through some crazy stuff. Some of the stories that I've heard have just been phenomenal in
Wow.
the ways that how can somebody overcome that?
Mm-hmm.
You'll sit in these rooms and you think that you've had a bad day, or you think that you've had it, not given a fair shake at life,
Yeah.
and then you hear some of these stories, man, and it really brings you back. It really
Wow.
makes you grateful for the little things.
Wow, that's amazing, man. Shout out. And I would say that a lot of individuals that are struggling with drugs and alcohol are some of the most successful people, going
Definitely,
through that and, and,
definitely.
and moving through that and then being able to share their testament to like, hey, this is where I
Hmm.
was. This is like sleeping on a park bench or underneath a bridge and then, becoming a multimillionaire or developing a smoothie company. And I've seen multiple different interviews and you're going to be one of these testimonials. You are one of these
That's right.
testimonials, man.
That's right.
So currently, right now, you live and reside here in Arizona.
Yeah, I live in Tucson, Arizona.
Okay, okay. So a couple hours,
Oh,
you
Tucson.
come out to be here.
Yeah, 2 hour drive. It
Shout
was
out, bro. Commitment, dude.
the bag was yelling at me, it's still yelling at me, but hey, we're gonna focus, we're gonna get through this, we're gonna transmute this pain into action.
Action and love, and at the end of the day, we want individuals that are going to be tuning in to be able to be enlightened, inspired, be able to understand that like anyone can have liftoff, right? And we're gonna navigate this show before he's like, oh, talking points or this or that. Or I said, dude, we're just gonna have a conversation, man. It's about when you have liftoff personally, professionally, and spiritually. We might hit on all three. We might just do one, the other. We'll see where it goes. But let's get into a little bit, and you can go as deep as you want, as you feel comfortable. At the end of the day, this is a raw experience that we want to give people an opportunity that they can take different things and apply it to what they're going through, right? So they can have an
Definitely.
opportunity to be like, holy shit, like, wow. So 20 years clean and sober. How long you been working on the product for before? I know that you're going to market here soon, but how long has this been? And where did this even, like, the spark? Where was the catalyst that was just like, I'm going in this direction?
Well, getting starting, I don't a lot of my entrepreneur friends, they were like, bro, why are you trying to start a supplement company? You couldn't have picked a more saturated market, a market that has so much competition.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
But what separates me from the other companies and Philosopher's Fuel is that, this company wasn't built to make money. This company,
Let's go.
right?
Let's go.
Hey, this company was built because I was scared, y'all.
Wow.
I was so scared that I wouldn't be able to perform cognitively again.
And tell us a little bit more about like why. So you said again. So what
Mhm.
happened leading up to that for you to even be able to get to this place? Because we talked offline before about this. So give us a little context.
I'm not gonna name off any names, but I ended up taking some medications. That's what we'll call it, some medications, and I had a very severe bad reaction to it.
Wow. And this is just a traditional medical industry gave this to you.
Definitely,
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So I had a super bad reaction. The doctors didn't know what was going on with me.
Mm.
I didn't know what was going on with me. I mean, I was talking and seeing angels, and
Wow.
my whole life flashed before my eyes. It was almost like I died.
Ugh. Wow.
Seriously, it was like I died. Anything I ever did wrong in my life was brought before me.
Oh my God.
It was very traumatic. Coming out of that, it took about 6 to 8 months before
Mm.
I could even say a word or two.
Mm.
I knew something was wrong. I couldn't think. The doctors would come to me every day, and they would be like, "I want you to remember this word," and then they would come back the next day. I couldn't remember it.
Wow. And
Yeah.
so leading up to this, just so we can get some clarity for the viewers and listeners out there. So as deep as you want to go into it. So what happened even leading up to taking this, you know,
hmm
to get to that point where did you like get sick or what happened for you to take
So
this?
uh, the medications that were given to me, they were they were basically medications that you wouldn't think they could cause such a bad reaction.
Really
But when they got mixed, it was just terrible. I
interesting.
mean, some mild medications for anxiety,
So they're trying to solve anxiety,
some mild medications for depression.
depression, anxiety medication. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
definitely. So, and I'm not trying to get into which medicine it was or
Of
anything
course, of
like
course.
that. The point is that I knew something was wrong and I
Mm,
needed to fix it.
wow.
So when I could think good enough to get in front of the computer and I was
Hmm.
pecking, it was almost like I was relearning again. My friends, I want to jump back just a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
My friends would come up to me and they couldn't recognize me just because I was not there.
Wow.
I was not there. I couldn't have a conversation like we're having now. Definitely not.
Wow.
Like I said, I could only speak one or two words once
Mm,
I started getting better. But I knew I had a problem.
wow.
So I started searching online for something to help my brain.
Mm,
Something to give me the edge I used to have.
mm,
Because I was growing up, I was pretty smart.
yeah.
I sucked at math, but I was still pretty smart.
Hmm. Keeping it real.
but uh, but so I found something out very quickly when I was looking at these products. A lot of these products had some of them had synthetic ingredients.
Yep.
Some of them were focused on a short term boost.
Mm,
Like just get me 3 or 4 hours.
5 hour
5
energy
hour.
drink.
I wasn't gonna say them, but yes, I have taken that before. But yeah, so I was just searching and searching and searching. I needed something that was shown that could potentially rebuild my brain
Mm.
because my brain it was devastated.
Yeah, yeah, no, I can only imagine. And the reason why, and for us, we obviously don't want to put anyone to the bus. We don't talk about specifically type of like drugs that were being taken. I
Yes.
just feel like it's really important for a lot of people out there that are maybe
hmm
struggling like you were struggling before with depression or anxiety and what have you. And you're going to go to the
hmm
doctors and you're going to get these medications just to, think before you go deep into something that maybe would turn into what you experienced.
Yes. It was the scariest moment I've ever felt in my life,
Wow.
and I've had several near-death experiences.
And how long has it been since that moment?
about 3 years ago.
Only 3 years, dude.
A little bit less
Congratulations,
than
man.
a little bit less than 3 years ago.
You're doing amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I found some. The search was endless. Like I said, I couldn't really think to really search how I can search for stuff down very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So it took a long time. I searched everything. I started digging deep into hermetic wisdom, ancient knowledge, trying to find something that wasn't there.
Mm.
Trying to find some ingredients from some sacred yogi sitting on the Himalayas or something. And no, literally.
Wow. Wow.
And I found those ingredients, dude.
Really?
I found that when you put certain ingredients together for an overall outcome, that it is possible. It is possible to have excellent brain cognition.
Wow, dude,
Yeah.
that is awesome. We're gonna get into that in today's show
Mm.
because it's I think people more or less now than ever want that. I feel like the coffee can be jittery. I feel like
Definitely.
matcha and teas becoming more popular.
Hmm.
Shout out Red Zen Tea, my wife, and
Let's
she was
go.
she was on the podcast. You just had the matcha.
Excellent.
Appreciate that.
I feel
Awesome.
so level right now.
And it's a good, it's more of a focus. L-theanine, as you know, is more of a
Love it.
focus energy. It's not going to be jittery energy. I
Hmm.
feel like energy drinks are going away. I hear, not to put anyone on the bus, but the sludge at the ship factories are taking that and
Oof.
they're turning it into the
Definitely are.
chemicals. Yep.
They definitely are.
That are putting into the energy drinks. And so, alcohol is becoming less and less of a thing. You're
And
also seeing
and you
now,
also have pesticides that are in
yes,
alcohol. Did you know
yes,
that?
I didn't know that.
Bro, crazy.
What the fuck, dude? And then you have, tobacco, of course, cigarettes. Who cares about that?
Yeah.
And now you're starting to see people go to this like kratom, kava bars.
Hmm.
They're changing
Natural.
natural
That's
mushrooms.
right.
That's where we're going
Hmm.
into because people are starting to realize that like we don't need this synthetic garbage that capitalism is trying to
Hmm.
capitalize on. We have the natural things that just our Mother Earth has
Right?
to help us. So how did you? I mean, you're 3 years now. At what point did you get discharged? So you obviously were functioning enough to get discharged,
Yes, definitely.
and then how long did that take?
Um, about 7 months.
So you're in the hospital 7 months.
Yes.
Wow. So seven
And they
months.
couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. So they just kept sending me to different hospitals, hoping that somebody could.
To
And you
fix
wouldn't
you?
believe you wouldn't believe some of the things I was thinking that it could have been.
Like,
Like some like leaky gut syndrome or just crazy stuff. Like
interesting.
literally, like nobody knew what happened.
Now, did they take you off the medications, or they
I
kept you on it?
refused medications. I mean,
So
wouldn't you if something like that happened
yeah,
from taking some medication?
yeah. So you took it, and the next thing you know, what was it? Right away is when it happened. You
It
felt the
it
way.
w- it was it was kind of progressive over. I remember when it started happening. It was progressive over the course of 3 days of me taking the medication, and it progressively got worse. And then all of a sudden, boom! It was like it was terrible.
And then you
It was
stopped
so
taking it at that
scary.
at that time, and then
That's when I stopped.
and then
Yeah.
like, could you even eat for yourself or anything?
Um,
Go to the
it was it
bathroom?
was it was really crazy. I could eat, but I noticed that it not only had a bad reaction to my brain, it had a bad reaction to my digestive tract as well. Because my body during that time, my body got susceptible to so much cortisol that
Stressed out.
it put me in a fight or flight mode.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Wow, that is amazing. That like, so then you didn't take the medication. They put you to hospital, and then what did that look like? They were just trying to run tests on you. I
they
mean,
they ran a lot of tests. It I remember them taking blood several times and
mhm.
just trying to find some abnormality,
Mm,
in my
mhm.
mineral content in my body, and
Wow,
they just
nothing.
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 Yeah.
So it's interesting thinking about what you're saying to me, and I hear this a lot with individuals that go through like a near-death experience.
Hmm.
It's almost like it's not that just like you get a wake-up call, but it's almost like you get a download, and you get this download, and then you get to this like next level of awareness, which then unlocks something in your brain. Would you?
I can I can say I feel like that's what happened, especially since the fact it was like I died. It was like I died.
Wow. And so
For
you
real.
were born again.
I was born and I was a baby. I couldn't think.
Wow.
I was a baby, straight up. I can laugh about it now, but like I said, it was very traumatic. It was so scary. So scary that I haven't really talked about it, Norman. So like I
Hmm.
think you forget me out of my comfort zone and,
That's why we're
and,
here,
and
bro.
let me talk about this.
Dude, hey, the one thing about our experience here
Mhm.
is that it's a family vibe, and we're taking the DNA of everything we're doing, and we're just mixing it together. And I remember when we first wanted to get this show off the ground, and I wanted sponsorship to be Liftoff because Liftoff
That's
Agent
right.
has the editors and stuff behind the
Mhm.
scenes. And Smith was kind of like, well, I don't really want that to be something that jeopardizes the brand, so on and so forth. But I'm like, personal development is everything, right? And
It
like,
is.
like my wife before we got on air, is he a realtor? Like, no, no, because we do a lot of real estate marketing, right?
That's
And
right.
that's on real estate first technology. And I like this because I feel like it doesn't matter if you're a
Mhm.
celebrity or you have a big following or you're just coming out from the perspective of telling your story and being public about it. We
Mhm.
want to give everyone an equal playing field. I don't look at the hierarchy as it should be any different. And I don't care,
Definitely.
what you wear, how much money you have, none of
Hmm.
that shit. It just, are you a good person? You know what I'm
I'm.
saying?
I would say I'm a very good person.
He's literally answering that, but no, of course, right? Because you're here and whatnot, and I like the idea of having the opportunity to just have you come outside of your comfort zone and be able to share this because this is going
Hmm.
to be encapsulated in time, bro. Like this is your story. This
That's
is
right.
where you came from, and you never know who's out there going through anxiety or depression, and if they're experiencing that, and hopefully just one person can hear this and hear your story, and
Hmm.
then I know you don't want to say anything specifically about the medications. Maybe, hey, I gave you the Instagram, the links are down below. Would you mind when DM you personally, and can you help people personally if they wanted to reach out?
Feel free to DM me with anything that you're going through. I've also, in my personal development and recovering from drug addiction and
Yeah.
alcohol, I've also received my recovery support specialist, and I worked for it as a BHT for a very long time.
Wow, dude. Let's go, man. Congratulations on all that. So
Hmm.
reach out to him personally. I'm always available as well. Reach out to me as well. Just
Hmm.
at Mr. Liftoff. Links are down below. So, okay. So now fast forward. So 7 months, you get
Hmm.
discharged, hospital, because you're off the medications, then,
Hmm.
and you and your determination, did you just eventually start to like cognitively start to have more function
It
or?
wasn't. It wasn't eventually. I needed something to help. So
So you
like,
did the research in the hospital.
no, 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 no. When I got out, that's when I started
Okay,
researching.
okay.
Yeah, no, they didn't. I didn't have access to internet.
Nothing, right? Nothing.
Nothing.
It's like
And even
jail.
then, like I wouldn't be able to cognitively. I wouldn't be able to function good enough to type.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Wow.
Yeah. Um. So it was kind of like basically like I'm learning everything again. I'm learning how to talk to people. I'm learning how to be social. I'm searching far and wide for a miracle. Like
Wow. Now, are
basically
you
a
single at
miracle.
this time? You're single? Any kids?
Um.
Partner?
I I have a significant other. Yes.
And that person was there the whole time?
No, no,
Oh,
no.
wow.
Yeah, so actually, I was at the time I had a significant other, and w- she didn't know what happened either.
Real? So you're just
Yeah,
gone for 7 months? She's like, I don't know where
no,
we
no, no. She knew.
went.
She knew something happened to me, but like to her, she was like, "Oh God, he went psycho. Like, what's going on with this guy?"
What?
Yeah.
Wow. And she didn't stick around?
No, she doesn't stick around.
Okay, she wasn't rolling then.
So like, you ever heard that song of "If I Go Crazy, then will you still call me Superman?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So that song was like my motto for the longest time because
Wow.
yeah, that's what they thought. They thought I was just crazy. Yeah.
Wow. So then,
Hmm.
how did they like? So did they didn't escalate this to like you went to like another facility?
No, no. So
Okay.
like, so during my search, I started searching for these ingredients, and like I said, I searched far and wide. I started dabbling and studying ancient texts, esoteric knowledge,
Hmm.
and I found some really cool stuff, and I found some ingredients. One of them being Celestris paniculatus.
What is that?
So they call it the the black oil,
Mm.
and it is the elixir of intellect. And it has been used.
Interesting.
It has been used by alchemists, ancient yogis. Like, because I was telling you I was searching for these ancient yogis. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
I found it in the text that they use this, and I had to search. Like, what is this? What
And is it
is
a
this?
plant?
It's a plant, and they
Interesting.
take the seed. They take the seed and grind it up and make an oil. Right?
I take Shilajit, so it reminds me of like because
Yeah, it's
Shilajit's
kind of
black tar.
it looks sort of like that.
Okay,
It
okay.
looks sort of like that. But I found that when you combine this with other ingredients, medicinal mushrooms,
Mm, mm,
PQQ, phosphatidylserine,
mm,
I found that when you put these together synergetically,
hmm.
it makes a world of difference.
Wow. And
Hmm.
so, but I'm still just like so mind boggled as far as like the 7 months to like the
Hmm.
discharge to getting back home. So you obviously could walk and function somewhat before they released you, right?
Yeah, I was okay enough to be released. I could.
Were they like, oh my God, DJ's not, he's not crazy. Like, it's like,
Yeah,
what the
pretty
fuck?
much, pretty much. They're like, yeah, he's not crazy. He could go home, you know.
Wow.
So, after that, when I did my search, and then I'm working. At the time, I'm working like a dead end job,
Hmm.
minimum wage,
Hmm.
because I could read a script and sell tools.
Mm.
That's the kind of function that I had,
Yeah.
you know.
What were
And
you doing before that?
before that, I had a painting business.
Oh, so you had your own company at that time?
Yes.
Okay. So then
Yeah.
that dissolved, and then now you're just working the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Working the 9 to 5. And so I start getting these ingredients from other companies. Now, mind you, I spent pretty much my whole check getting these ingredients to fix myself, right?
Wow.
So I would take handfuls. So like I came up with 18 different ingredients,
Hmm.
and it would be a handful.
Mm.
But what I also found was with these other companies that I was getting, and I didn't know this at the time. I was just
Hmm.
trying to help myself and stuff. And I started getting some weird effects, and I found out why. I found out that during the manufacturing process, they use something called excipients.
Mm.
Excipients are what people call fillers. Have you ever heard of
Mm.
that word in
Yeah.
the supplement industry?
Yeah.
Fillers. And these fillers are used in the manufacturing processes because these ingredients are powders, right? They break them down, make them into powders, and to get them to go through the machines, they have to add something. Otherwise, it just clumps up and it won't go through the machines. Well, I found out that some of these ingredients that they were using were synthetic ingredients, and that over a period of time, yes, they're so less that it's supposed to not affect you,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
And through the guidelines and everything, they're allowed to put this stuff in there because it's such a minute amount.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I've realized that. Then I found some other companies that didn't use those excipients, and there's some excipients that are all natural
Hmm.
that don't have those effects. And
Wow.
yeah, we have them. We're actually manufacturing right now as we speak
Okay.
in Texas. So
Let's go,
made in the
dude.
USA.
Let's
What?
go.
What?
I just gotta say that like there's a level of, and I'm just gonna be honest here, stupidity, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
when you think
There
about
is.
it from the perspective of like, okay, so this won't go through the machines, so let's
Right.
use this filler,
Uh huh.
which isn't supposed to be digested per se. It's safe though, don't you worry.
Yeah. Right.
So we can go through the machine and not clump up. Wouldn't you think that there needs to be a different manufacturing process? You know what I'm saying? So there's
And
just
it
making
is.
people.
And the weird thing is, it is offered. It is offered. These other ingredients are offered, but guess what? They cost more money. They cost more money. So the companies, they're all about the money, and they're not about the product.
But this is the craziest part. I'm gonna go a little bit off a deep end here. Is that individuals like to make it about the money,
Definitely.
and then after they make it about the money, they wonder why they're lost inside.
Mm.
Because the fact that they're putting the fillers and they're doing what they're doing and they're not being good to their fellow, whatever, human, whatever,
Right?
man, woman, child,
Consciousness.
whatever,
Yeah.
consciousness in
Yeah.
general, because, and with this experience, why there's an alien here, because, we will talk a little
Right.
bit more about esoteric and go
Let's
deeper
go.
off the deep end. We want to be on a different level before we get there, because we are going to go deeper into some just philosophical esoteric, which is just like out there type concepts, because I think that thought provoking is always amazing.
Definitely
and
is.
and I did a post today about how, if you could imagine the fact that there is no separation in self, and all it is like, there's just me, and there is you,
Hmm.
and we see each other, and we're physically here, but they say, like, this is like the Matrix, it's a simulation, it's a deep simulation, simulation, but there is no, it's just one, and then there's
Yeah, we are
different,
one.
we all one, yeah, exactly.
Everything is one.
Everything is one, but then we separate ourselves, and then we have these different contrasting experiences or whatever else. And so then people need to realize, these manufacturers, that you think that you're going to put these fillers, and you're going to
Hmm.
save money because you're going to make more money and have all this profit, but all you're doing is feeling empty inside, because you're only hurting yourself at the end of the road.
That's right. I mean, because at the end of the day, see, this is what gives me motivation. Do you want to know what gives me motivation?
Let's go.
It's that if I don't give you this product, if I don't give the world this product, I'm being selfish.
Ooh.
I'm being selfish.
Ooh.
So I use that word. That's a trigger word, guys. I use that word all the time to get me moving. Because when I, like right now, I don't feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
But before I came here, I was on the computer getting work done.
Mm.
And how I did that, even though I just wanted to lay on my back, I just wanted to lay on my back, right? Take my muscle relaxer or whatever that they prescribed,
Mm.
and hope to feel better, right? But instead, I just like, look, you're being selfish. You need to get up there and do that work.
Yeah.
Get it out there to the people. They
Yeah.
deserve to have a product like this,
100%.
right?
100%. And the thing is, too, is like, I can imagine, too, when you're
Mhm.
laying on the bed out there and you're thinking about it, feeling sorry for yourself, or whatever the case may be,
Definitely.
it's going to be that much more painful. It's going to be that much
It
more top of
is.
mind.
It actually is because I'm sitting there and I'm focusing on that. I'm
Correct.
focusing on that
Where
pain.
attention goes, energy flows. So
Definitely.
you got to keep moving forward. And whether it's a negative thought that you don't want to entertain, then don't entertain it. Right? If you want to be
Do it.
happy, then be happy and claim it. If something's hard, then is it hard, or are you saying it's hard?
It's
And
a
then
perception.
is it a perception? Are you giving that hard the energy to then manifest into hard?
That's right.
Right? Because at the end of the day, like, I appreciate you coming here and doing what you're doing after being in a car accident.
Yeah, right. I mean, things happen exactly the way they're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
We may not realize it at the time, but it's all a divine order.
Yeah.
The all is one,
Yeah.
just like you said.
Yeah.
And I wanna backtrack just a little bit.
You're good, man.
You
It's your
know,
show, bro.
so this, I've talked about some suffering
Mm-hmm.
in this podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the cool thing is that everybody has this inside of them. Everybody has a way to transmute this pain, this suffering into fire, you know?
Yeah.
And you can take that fire and dissolve, right? You can dissolve the ego. You can dissolve the things that don't serve you,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then you could put it all together and then manifest your desires.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Lift off moment, bro. It's so true, man. It was interesting because before we go on the show, you were talking about the Camaro. And,
Yeah.
our car people out there, shout out, let's go. Where you at? Where you at?
Hey, bow tie.
Jen's behind the scenes. She likes her GTRs. I got a GTR. You got the Camaro.
I'm getting a GTR
You're
after
getting,
this.
hey, just line in the sand, done. And
Done.
and the thing is that, what I've learned, what you've learned, and you even said, like, the Camaro is great, and you were in this brand new Honda, and it was great too. You're just
Yeah,
enjoying, it's comfortable.
one thing I liked about the Honda is just my back's so messed up right now. It had such a little smooth ride, man.
Yeah, which is dope.
Dude, that magnetic suspension in the Camaro, bro, you
Yeah.
feel everything.
Oh my
Every
God.
little dip, you feel it.
I can imagine, bro.
Yeah.
I can imagine. But the thing is that, it's not, you get it, and then you learn that it's just a thing.
It's just material.
It's just
It,
material for
it
sure.
has no duration.
No.
It has no duration.
No.
The mountain out there, if you really think about it, does it have duration? It has more duration than that car,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what would really blow your mind is when you think about the duration of Earth.
Mm.
How long has it been around? And don't let them fool you guys. You know, we are human, right? Don't let them fool you into thinking that our DNA is 2,800 years old. It is millions of years old.
Yeah.
The Earth has been here for billions of years.
Yep.
It has traveled through tons of cycles of planetary chains.
It's amazing. It's mind-boggling.
It's crazy when you think about the duration. So, like, when I'm thinking about this car and the duration it has, so, like, I had it for 8 months.
Mm.
And eventually it's going to rot and deteriorate. It will be gone from the earth. So, does it really matter?
Mm-mm.
You know, I love the experiences. I
Of
really
course.
did. I like going to the track in it and hitting the tree and hitting the green light and getting on it, you know. But in all actuality, does it matter?
No.
Yeah, it
No, it
doesn't.
only matters as much as you think it matters.
That's
and
right.
and that's not to say that if you're a car person, like that's great,
I
and
love
it's
cars.
so do I. It's
Ugh,
just a tool. It's a tool to be able to either
definitely.
inspire someone. It's a trophy to show that you've manifest or you got to a certain point.
Right.
And if anything, it's like for me, it's just a hobby, man. Before you got here, I was like, yeah, I just got the new steering wheel in the truck because
So sick.
thanks, bro. I appreciate you.
Alcantara too.
Yeah. So I did there's a pill and stick segment on cars. Now there's a pill and stick microfiber, not microfiber, pill and stick suede. And so basically I got the steering wheel. This is the second one by the way. The first one I got was the first one was a stock one, but the truck's so tight, you saw me put it in the garage.
Dude, I couldn't believe you got it in there. He's even got, I'm going to just tell a little bit about your garage. He's got 2x4s because there's a concrete ledge, right? Where his back tire literally had to go up on that concrete ledge to get in there. And I thought for sure you were going through the wall. What, 800 horsepower? He had to hit the gas to go over it. Man, I thought for sure.
When I first got that truck, I was scared. I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Backing it up and not hitting the gas too hard to go through the back wall. But this is the
Yeah.
thing. I had the toolbox, or the toolbox is here, and then the bag, and I had the stock steering wheel on the bag. So when I was backing up, I backed up into the steering wheel and bent it, bro.
Oh, no.
And then I had to take back the first one because it was made so poorly. It looked dope and it was carbon fiber and everything else, but it was made poorly. So I was like, shit, I got to order a new one. And the new one just came today. And I was supposed to have the other one back by the 26th of June. And so I sent it yesterday. I hope they give me a refund. We'll see, but you never know politics. So I sent that yesterday, and then I just got this one today. And then my mom went with my daughter and my wife and my nephew to go to my wife's mom's house. And so then you got here, and we were just pulling up, and that was cool because I got to see the GTR real quick,
Right.
see the truck. We'll have to take, we'll depending on time wise, we'll see. Parent or my mom and my wife want to go to Daruma. We've been trying to go to this Daruma sushi place for a while.
Oh,
So
that sounds good.
it's really good. It's opsin. They got either ramen and they have sushi and they have like
I'm a sushi fanatic. I love sushi.
dude.
I'm like a sushi connoisseur. I'm from like North and South Carolina, so they get some of the
Really?
freshest fish.
Okay.
It's like night and day from the sushi that I've had here in Arizona.
Oh, I can imagine. How long have you been in Arizona for?
I've been in Arizona for 7 years.
Okay. I've been here for 5. So just a couple years after me. So what made you relocate?
I have a daughter, right?
How old?
She's 17 years old.
What?
She is awesome. I couldn't have asked to have such a more well-mannered, badass daughter.
And she's here.
She's here in Tucson. Yeah.
Wow, dude. That's freaking awesome. Shout out to the daughter. And so 17 and you and the ex-mom still
No, we're not together.
don't talk or cordial?
Well, we're cordial. We're cordial, for her.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
how it is.
Yeah.
But she's awesome. So like I remember when she was 13 and she was like, "Dad, I know mom won't get this for me, but I want a tattoo gun." And I know we're probably going to get some backlash. I might get some backlash from
So
this,
you
but
bought it.
I bought it. I bought
13.
it. 13 years old. But I was responsible, guys. I bought her some of those fake skins,
Okay, okay, okay.
for her to
Now,
practice
does she
on.
do that for a living now, or does she?
She wants to open her own tattoo parlor, and then she wants to do some pottery stuff, like
Dope, dude.
yeah,
That's sick.
craft stuff. So she's learning from her dad, and she wants to have her own business too.
Dude, shout out, dude.
Yeah.
Congratulations to her. That's super cool.
hmm
So you got started as being a parent young,
I was in my 20s.
20s?
Yeah, I was in my 20s. At the time, I had a very successful painting business on the East Coast. I
Okay.
painted a lot of houses for Fred Yarborough, his son Jake Yarborough, the NASCAR driver.
Nice.
We won the Parade of Homes Awards
Mm.
7 years in a row. I mean, he's an excellent architect and builder.
Wow, dude. That's
Yeah,
awesome, dude. Congratulations. And once you do one thing successfully, you can do another thing successfully and you can just duplicate all that process.
that's
But
right.
let's get back into kind of pause the story. So you're every paycheck, you're taking the money, you're
hmm
buying the ingredients, you're sourcing the ingredients, you're literally
hmm
going through this whole process. And how long did it take for all the different iterations before you got to this specific recipe?
So when I was going through these ingredients, I quickly found out what was not working because I was the guinea pig.
Mm-hmm.
I knew how it made me feel. If it was jittery, I didn't like it. I couldn't perform the way I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to perform. I also had, like I said, I had anxieties and stuff. So I needed to overcome those stressors, right? So I needed something for stress as well.
Mm-hmm.
I also came to find that so like if I'm trying to rebuild neurons in my brain, I need some medicinal mushrooms like
Mm.
to that have nerve growth factor like lion's mane. Yes,
Interesting.
yeah. So I started putting all these together, and within 3 months, I had a shift. I had a big shift. My brain started to perform a lot better.
Mm.
I'm talking about better than what it did when I was young and
Wow.
when I was a kid. Just to put this in perspective, I enrolled in the Justice Through Code program at Columbia Business School,
Okay.
which helps justice challenged individuals learn how to code.
Mm.
I've never coded in my life.
Mm.
I was able to learn Python, HTML, CSS.
Wow.
I took that a little further and I enrolled at Full Sail University for computer science with a concentration in artificial intelligence.
Wow.
I sucked at math,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I hated math,
Mm.
right? I tried so hard as a kid to learn math. I just couldn't do it,
Interesting.
you know? I made a 99.09 in calculus. I made a 85. Now, you might think this is low, but this is discrete mathematics. It is a totally different
You
language.
do know we have a math teacher in the house, right?
Oh, yeah, really? Let's
She's
go.
back there. I hear her laughing. I'm like, uh-oh, we're talking.
Well, I could tell you how much fuel it'll take a rocket to land in Tucson. I could tell you how high it will go. I could tell you how fast it will get there.
Wow,
Yeah.
dude, let's go, dude. Wow. And so you were just taking this daily, right?
Yeah,
And then you were just
daily.
feeling the difference.
Definitely feeling the difference. Like
Wow.
my my friends wonder how I have so much energy.
That's so sick.
They really do, because I could just go and go and go. And then I even have nights. I guess a lot of us high performers were like this, and business owners, entrepreneurs, where we're up 3, 4 in the morning, and we're back up at 8 or 9. 3 hours of sleep, and still getting things done during the day. One thing that
Wow.
I can test with these ingredients is not only was I finding things to regrow neurons,
Hmm.
I also needed something to work on a mitochondrial level.
Hmm.
So I have ingredients in there for that as well. But a lot of people don't understand what stress does to the brain and age does to the brain. So with age and stress, what happens is your brain starts to oxidize and
Mm.
it starts to pretty much burn these neurons and these synapses.
Mm.
So I needed a powerful antioxidants. So I found those too. And it's it's a culmination of me being a guinea pig
Mm-hmm.
and finding out what works.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's amazing. And I think that it's a huge thing right now. You're seeing it everywhere, whether it's the She
Mm-hmm.
Legit or, fasting's been a thing for a while now. The Certified Health Nut, shout out Troy Case, he was on our show.
Right.
He was talking about now we're talking about, I guess you drink the urine first thing in the morning and then you can put on your face for anti-aging. There's all these different
You're
things
talking about aging urine.
talking about, no, your urine first
Yeah,
thing in the, yeah,
you age it.
yeah, that too.
You age it,
Yeah.
and then put it on your face and drink it.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be something next level. I haven't really researched it much, but
Nor
I
have
know
I.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it's a real thing.
It is a real
It
thing.
really is a real thing.
I mean, it's amazing all of these things that are coming up because I feel like now we're starting to wake up and we're starting to realize that there doesn't need to be. I'm looking at this, like there doesn't need to be a limitation to age. Now
Definitely
people
not.
are starting to see that, like, oh my God, like you could
Hmm.
live a lot longer than maybe we were told we could live.
And I'm just gonna jump off the
Let's
the
just
side of the mountain right
let's
here.
jump off.
Um,
We're going deep.
I don't know if you ever heard of Ormus metals. Have you ever heard of Ormus
No,
metals?
no.
Okay, well, there's 12 metals, and
Mm.
they're Ormus metals that can be broken down
Mm-hmm.
uh, to a very small particle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So small that it starts to have, so you can take non-ferrous metals like gold, silver, other metals like that, and
Mm.
you can break it down so low to where to a an atomic scale that it actually starts to have magnetic properties,
Wow.
and to where your body can absorb it.
Hmm.
And I don't know, they might try to come after me for telling you about this stuff, but
Deep end.
this is what that I don't know if you've ever heard that like some of the ancients were blue in color or
Mm.
black and gold, you know.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like Egypt, like during like the Egypt
Yeah,
time.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like way no before that.
Oh, even before that. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
before that, and the reason why they were these colors is because they ingested Ormus metals. It was
Mm.
called the mana. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. In the Bible, it's called the mana.
Interesting. Interesting.
Hmm.
Okay. Wow. I mean, I like to be open as possible. That's why I'm selfishly
So
doing this podcast and
yeah,
having guests on like yourself because I do want to explore the possibility of, you know, other than what I can see and believe and what I've
hmm,
been told, because we only know what we've been told.
yeah. So these metals were known to regrow teeth. So your teeth can actually regrow.
Well, lizard's
Eh,
tail can
Yeah,
regrow, so
right.
it's like, hello, like,
It was also made to make you not age
wow,
or reverse aging.
interesting.
It's really cool stuff.
Very cool stuff. Because the thing that I look at too is like when you think about what society says, they all say certain things that like we believe, whether it's retirement,
Yeah.
retirement age,
Hmm. You got to work till
401k,
this
you got to
this
work until
old.
this time.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why are we told all these things? You know what I'm saying? And then, yeah, right? And it's like,
You're opening up a can of worms, bro. I'm
it's
telling you. You
it's
get me
okay.
excited.
It's okay. We're gonna get you excited. Now he's finally willing to open up. No,
Let's go.
and so it's like they say all these things, and it's until we question why they tell us the things that they
Mm.
tell us, do we finally start to get to a different level of awareness of like, so like Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich is a really good book you can read.
I love
I've
that book.
I've kind of changed his quote, but I say whatever the mind can't conceive, believe, and feel, it can achieve. The
That's
feeling
right.
part wasn't really in his specific quote.
Hmm.
I feel like we all read or learn from each other, and then we can evolve what that knowing or that quote or that book or the teachings were
Hmm.
in there, and that's where it's just like I'm really curious about like, and that's why I want to use this. Like my envision for this experience is that it's going to be bigger than Joe Rogan and that
Let's
whole
go.
that whole podcast that he has, because we're giving just anyone and everyone an opportunity to have a voice, not someone that has to already been doing like fighting or a celebrity or someone who's already at it, because we all are one, and if we
Hmm.
are, you don't need to be SpaceX, Tesla,
They didn't start off like that. They
no,
didn't start off like
no,
that.
there's just
This is
us.
the liftoff. Let's
Yes.
go.
Yes.
I get
100%.
that. I get it now.
Okay, so you going into like those metals like you're talking about that can go and be broken down to a level where we can actually ingest them to like
Mhm.
what you're doing with the supplement company. When you start thinking about like and envisioning what does it look like? So you're at the beginning stages, you're going to go live soon.
Very
What
soon.
does this even look like? Are you going to start getting into other opportunities to see where you could
Definitely.
take this?
Yes. So by year 5, we want to have everything digitized as
Okay.
well. We want to be on, have a coin for each one of our products.
Okay.
We also are going to start our own manufacturing business. I'm looking in South Carolina right now,
Yeah.
and we like to have keep our Arizona people. We want to really help the economy here as well,
Of course.
and offer some really good jobs. And you can ask my interns; they say I'm the best boss they ever had.
Hey, I
Seriously,
get the same thing with Liftoff
because
too.
I've learned a lot about productivity and what it takes to stay
Hmm.
productive and to have that creativity.
Yeah.
So we want to have a East and West Coast hub.
Okay.
I'm going to private label other companies as well,
Hmm.
but our main focus is to give people good supplements. And and the reason why I'm saying it like that is because I've seen a lot of crap on the market,
Mm.
a lot of things. So like the company that I'm using to help me in this, to help me procure some of these things, we test these ingredients, and we
Mm.
found that even when we got some of these ingredients, it wasn't the purity that we needed, right,
Mm.
to make it effective.
Yeah.
And a lot of these companies don't do that.
Really?
Yeah, so you're really not knowing exactly what's in there
Hmm.
unless I mean, of course, they have certifications and stuff, and some of these companies are doing that, but we really want to help people get to a point where we can put good stuff back in our body. And today, with the food industry, as you know, we're not getting the same nutritional value
Yeah.
in our foods because of you know genetic mutation of vegetables and nuts and fruits,
Pesticides and
pesticides and
they're
everything.
speeding up the
So,
process.
and yeah, they're speeding up the process. They're trying to mass produce food that at one time had great nutritional value,
Mm.
but today they're not. So we want to bring in supplements that could help offset that.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. Congratulations. And thank you for that because there's so many companies out there where like just, you might be viewing and listening and like you're like, I don't know. I just don't know what I don't know. Like how do you even know to like what's good, what's
That's
not? And they say it's organic, but then okay, is it
hmm
how much better and like how much nutrients is in it? I don't even know, what company do I trust, you know?
right. And that's the thing today. Today, if you're not willing to do the research, and here's the thing, this is why you should do the research. This is your body. This is your temple. You have to be careful with everything you put into it. And I'm not just talking about food either. You have to be careful about what you see, what you hear, but most importantly, what you digest.
Amen. And I think another way too to combat what you digest is you can take a second. My wife does a mindful tea tasting, and we did it with our Monday Motivation last Monday with the Liftoff Agent team. And it was funny. Jen could contest to this too because she was in it, and she was like, "Man, this matcha tastes better than the one with the vanilla." And I feel like when we slow down and like you like have a drink and you just slow down and you just
Mm-hmm.
look at the drink and you just say, you know what, I'm grateful for you, drink. Like, thanks so much. And God bless you. And just like when you say you pray over your food before you eat your food,
Definitely.
slowing down and just praying over, because this is, like water's alive.
It is alive.
And if you just bless it and it might sound a little woo woo, but if you bless it and just say, thank you so much for your nutrients. And so every morning when
Mm-hmm.
I'm like making the tea, I bless the water every single time. Like I'm getting
That's so
this. And then
cool.
I even have,
Mm-hmm.
we got IV shots and I got like, just a small little vial and it has minerals.
Yeah.
And I put minerals back in the water because we do reverse osmosis. So it takes the
Mm-hmm.
minerals out.
Yeah.
And then I do the shilajit every morning with the tea and the sea salt and
Mm-hmm.
the apple cider vinegar because I want my body to be like an alkalinal state. So, all these little things people forget about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you see commercials this morning at the gym for like McDonald's $5 meal. And it's just like, that's not food.
It is not food.
It's not food.
And you also, like you said, you have to be careful with who prepares your food
Mm-hmm.
because you never know what kind of mood they're in. And everything vibrates, y'all. Everything vibrates. Everything moves. So, just like you said, when you pray over your food,
Mm-hmm.
you're sending your vibrations to the water. You're
Mm-hmm.
sending your vibrations to the food.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have somebody cooking your food and they've had a really crappy day, you don't know what's going on with them.
And you could taste it
The
though.
energy, you can definitely taste it.
You could taste some
You
shitty
could
food.
definitely taste it. For real. So I mean it's very important what you feed yourself is very important. You know, what you're vibrating, what you're sending out, because what you're sending out is exactly what you will receive.
Dude, you know what's crazy? And I agree with you 100%. I was listening to, I think it was Troy Casey too, about tattoos. And I got a few. And
Hmm.
it's like the vibration that was, given, or the person, how they felt that day giving you a tattoo is going to be on you for the rest
For
of your
real.
life.
For real. See, I'm glad you said that because I've got some really cool tattoos right here,
I see you.
and they're they're not normal tattoos, right? These tattoos have symbolic meanings inside of them,
Mm,
and they do things, right?
mm,
So these tattoos, whenever I talk to the artist, and now I searched for a long time to get the right artist, right?
mm.
And once I found the artist, I made sure he was having the best day. It took
Ooh.
me months to get these tattoos to get to him when he was having his best day, when he was in his most positive energy.
Wow.
Seriously.
Dude, that is awesome. And, that might be something that you're thinking like, whoa, like that's freaking
Oh, and
crazy.
I
Like,
blessed the ink.
I love that. See, I didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. I think there's something to be said with probably being able to, go back in and maybe think about blessing, and
Hmm.
trying to, they say like you go into a house, for real estate agents, right? Like you go in with the
Hmm.
sage and you sage the house and you clear the energy and all that
Right.
type of stuff. Like you said, everything is vibration, everything is energy all around us. There,
Hmm.
there is just like, like when you walk into a house, you could feel the energy of the home.
Dude, your vibe of your house is so airy.
You like
It
that?
is so uplifting. It
Awesome.
is there's so much love in this house, bro. As
Aw,
soon as
dude.
I'm very sensitive to stuff like that.
Yeah.
Feeling people's energies. I'm kind of an empath. I can
Okay.
feel what you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to cut it off so I don't feel what you're feeling.
Yeah. It's like, well, too
It
much.
took a lot of practice, but like, dude, the vibe you get when your house is like night and day. It
Ah,
really, as soon as I walked in your door, I was just like, wow, I got little chills and stuff, man. It was
dude.
amazing.
Let's freaking go. No, it's been a labor of love, man. And like my wife and I, when we first came out here, like, we both come from like I lived in apartments and never
Hmm.
had a house. And I
Yeah.
remember the first time I came in here, and I came in a week before, and I was in the dining room, and I was just like, I was at that time still doing vlogs, and I had a
Hmm.
vlog on YouTube, and I just literally like teared up. I couldn't help myself. I'm like, what? Like,
Oh,
this is freaking my house. Like, what the hell? Like, this is crazy. And it was just such a blessing, man. And now it's like a blessing to share it, And so we have
definitely.
Airbnb upstairs,
Hmm.
we rent a room upstairs. We're about to break ground and do a second master upstairs because our roommate of 5 years is going to be moving out. We have Anna, who's our neighbor, who's sitting right now in little pain. He's like, yeah, I gotta move around.
I'm trying to manifest it away, though. I'm not trying to give it any
You got
attention.
it, bro. You got it. Come on now,
Just
put
move a
out the
little
good
bit.
vibes for this man. And it's just such a blessing. Like the kids are outside swimming right now, having a good old time, and that's what it's all about. It's about having that type of vibe. So you come in and you feel it, and you just feel good, and that's exactly what I want. And it was interesting because like, and it's kind of sad, and I wish nothing but positive intention by what I'm going to say right now. And I was talking to my brother, and my stepfather Joseph was with my mother, and he ended up not coming out. And he told me just now at the store that he doesn't really enjoy coming out here. And I
Hmm.
was just like, and I don't want to shine any negative attention on that. I'm just
Yeah.
looking at it as like it's unfortunate when you put your love, time, and attention, and as a human being, you have nothing but the best intention for other human beings.
Hmm.
And I know that like he's in a place that he's in that is what he needs to go through. So I bless him.
Yeah.
I
We're
want
all in.
nothing but
Yeah.
we're on our own paths.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after he told me that, I was like, you know, and it is what it is, right? Because I want my mom to be happy, and he's going through
Hmm.
his thing, and they have their own thing going on. So, you know, we won't go into the details here, and you know, it is what it is. But you know, I think that the people that are supposed to be in your life, and maybe you're going through this out there, are the
Hmm.
ones that are supposed to be there.
They are, and a lot of times you don't know why these people come into your life, you know. But when you're receptive, like you said,
Hmm.
the vibe that he had, like here's the thing, like you know, we all are in different stages of consciousness. We really are, but it's also important to see that and to show love, even when we're given love, and even though they're not ready to receive it, you know.
Yes,
But we
yes.
still give it. We still give love.
Dude, the number one thing that I've seen when it comes to sales, talking to individuals, filming podcasts,
Mm.
filming videos, it's just coming from love. If you can come from love and not come from an ego standpoint, and you're just coming from a place of service,
Love service.
it's a total different ball game, dude. And that's where, and I was talking to my mom about this the other day, and she's just like, I was like, yeah, I just want to get to a point where like money is no longer an object, right?
Hmm.
And she was having a hard time grasping this concept about how money is not going to be an object anymore. And she's like, oh, like Dad John, and so my father-in-law is Dad John,
Hmm.
call him Papa Bear, and so he just got married. You know, came into some money, God bless him,
Hmm.
everything else. And I said, no, I said, not like hit, and I said, not like that. I said like Bill Gates type shit. And she
Yeah.
was just like, whoa.
Old money.
She was like, how do you what? And she couldn't even conceptualize that for a second there.
Hmm.
I said, I want the type of money where I look at my neighbor and I look at her SUV and it's falling a fucking apart. And I want to go buy her a car, knock on her door and be like, congratulations, here's the keys to your new car,
Yeah.
to blow people's minds. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Definitely.
that's the type of level of success that I want, because you don't see, like you see it with Mr. Beast. That guy's freaking blessing
Love Mr.
people.
Beast. Go North Carolina.
Dude,
Let's
he
go.
is blessing people like nobody's business. He has his philanthropy channel and everything
Hmm.
else, and it's just amazing to see what he's doing. And it's kind of funny how he kind of a little exploits a little bit, right? Because he has so much to be able to pay someone.
Yeah.
Like his most recent episode,
But he
guy
didn't
lived.
start out like that.
Oh no,
No, dude. He
no,
didn't have much at all.
nothing.
Yeah.
He was a college kid.
Yeah. And what's really cool about Mr. Beast is I realized how many videos he made. He would make all of these videos. He made thousands of videos before he broke 1,000 views.
Yeah,
He made 1,000 videos before he broke 1,000 views,
crazy.
dude. And to I get what you're saying, like to be able to just take money and turn it into an energy of love.
That's what people don't
That's
understand.
amazing.
It's just a transfer of energy.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's all it is.
Money is energy. That's why they call it currency. It
Correct. And
flows.
the one thing that comes up for me when it comes to money is that I'm not committed to need to like this is how the structure is, right? You work
Hmm.
the 9 to 5, you do this, if this, then that, then the money,
Yeah.
right? I want to challenge that state of being, and get people to think differently on that. And it's still a work in progress of what that's going to look
Hmm.
like, but it's going to have to start from like top down, and that's what I'm working on with like Liftoff Agent, and
Yeah.
giving individuals an opportunity to be able to work with us, and not
Hmm.
for us, but with us,
Right.
and get to a point where it's like you can imagine it, you can envision it, you can achieve it. And I want to
That's
help
right.
people really open their minds up, even with the show, open their minds up to
Hmm.
these possibilities of what we're talking about that's completely outside of the norm.
It really, that's a great vision. I mean, and the thing is, anything is possible. I mean, and how I can prove that to you right now,
Mm,
how anything is possible, what you envision can be created because we are creators. Anything that you're looking at right now has been created. This mic, this phone, even this body, you know, was created.
hmm.
So as long as we continue to create and learn to channel our creation, anything is possible.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
really
and
is.
and to take it to the next step is thinking about it from the perspective of like, it doesn't need to already be there, and you don't need to already have the job that supports the income to
Hmm.
buy the thing. You just need to imagine how it would feel before you actually have it.
Yeah.
And the hardest part is day in and day out imagining what
Hmm.
that looks like. Because if you
There's, there,
obsess over it enough, you'll get it.
yeah, but there's another element to that.
What you got?
There's another element, and it's called faith. Because without faith, I mean, you gotta have faith, guys. And that's the thing. Like now, if you envision it and you believe that it's possible, because here's the thing: everything you need to get what you want is here. It's already here, right? You just have to access it, right?
Yep. And
So,
I think the first part to access it that comes up for me is as a manifester, I like to feel and touch.
mhm.
So if it's a house, go to that open house.
Oh yeah,
If it's a car, go to the dealership.
that's right. Drive it.
If it's a job or an amount of income you
Hmm.
want, find the person that has the job or the income that you want, whether it's digitally to start and then physically to the next step,
Hmm.
so you can get closer to it.
Definitely. Like you have to surround yourself with what you want to be.
Yeah, because
And
people.
that goes back to what do you digest?
Yep,
What are you digesting in your life today?
yep.
I mean, are you digesting poverty and suffering, or are you digesting abundance?
Amen. So I want to go deeper in this supplement line from the perspective of
Mhm.
like intention.
Okay.
What kind of intentions are you setting behind? I know you say you want to help more people.
Yes.
What type of intentions are you setting behind the recipes, the production of it,
Hmm.
the vision of when it goes live? Like
So,
what does it look like for you?
when I'm envision my vision of helping people, it started with the type of attention that I needed on this product.
Mm,
Right,
mm-hmm.
because there's tons of huge manufacturers right here in the United States for supplements.
Yeah.
There's some really big ones, right? But I didn't need to be just another supplement on the market going through their machines, right? I didn't need that.
Mm,
I needed people to be more hands-on. I needed more of a home feel approach.
mm-hmm.
I mean, even though the company that's manufacturing, they look like the most high-tech facility I've ever seen,
Wow.
right? I mean, it's amazing how high-tech they are,
Wow.
but they're a smaller company.
Wow.
They're a smaller company and they take pride in what they do. And that goes back to saying, like, with people
Mm-hmm.
cooking your food, right? These people love their job.
Mm-hmm.
This company takes care of their employees,
Mm-hmm.
right? But as far as like stuff that I want to do and help people, it's not just the product, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not what I'm selling here. I'm not selling a product.
Mm-hmm.
I'm selling the fact that I know that you can take any pain, any suffering, any doubt, any disbelief in what you want and what you want to become. I know that you can transmute that into fire and reach
Mm.
your full potential.
Fire,
You
dude.
know?
Absolutely fire. I think to take it to the next stage, from my perspective,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like what you're going to do by default, by helping individuals open up their cognitive function and giving their brain a new sense, like it reminds me of the Limitless pill, right? In that movie,
They
almost.
actually have. There's a company that actually has taken that movie and turned it into a supplement.
Really?
Yeah, it's called NZT
You tried it?
something. I have friends that have tried it.
And?
I am going to say that I believe my product is better.
Ooh. Okay. All right. All
And
right.
I don't. I'm not here to knock other companies. I think it.
Yeah,
I
it's
think it
good.
is a great product.
Yeah.
It has some really good ingredients in it.
Yeah, well, when we got connected, we did a Zoom meeting, and I love to do consultative. I
Hmm.
consult for a living. Let's be real with Liftoff Agent, but I like to like have other type of conversations like what we did outside of the industry of real estate. And I showed you the supplement that was sent to me called Focus, and I've talked about it. Anyone who's viewing, listening, and follows me on my Instagram, I've talked about it. And I'm a reseller by
Uh-huh.
default. They just like hooked me up. They said, "Here's some free product. Here's your account. Like you get a
Yeah.
percentage, whatever." So I've sold a few people bought, so which is cool, and I've enjoyed it, and it definitely was. And you said like you checked it out too before I even started to take
Hmm.
it and give me your feedback.
No, it
But
was a good product as well.
yeah, but I'm excited to take yours, and I'm grateful to be able to be a part of the process of you then having this go to market, because this is what this is like the pre before it goes to market, opportunity to share your story and also what we're talking about here, and what I can feel and believe for you and the individual that will try what you're going to put out there is that a new sense of opportunities and possibilities. And the one thing that I can imagine, and this is something that I'll tell a quick story. Okay.
Okay.
So we're going over to Yogurt Teeny, and Yogurt Teeny is just down the street here. And there's a smoke shop. And my wife and I, we've done some microdosing. And
Hmm.
so we go, and I'm just like, oh, honey, go ahead and go in the smoke shop. I got Jordan. Go see if there's anything over there. Ha
Yeah.
ha ha, whatever. And I have Jordan, and I have her friend Naomi. Jordan's 6, my daughter. So she finds basically magic mushrooms. It's a chocolate bar, but it's called Deja Vu, right?
Oh, cool
And
name.
it's super sick, bro. And on the packaging with the Deja Vu, it talks about like it doesn't say like melt your face off, this and that. Like if you take
Hmm.
traditional magic mushrooms, it'll have like the smiley face and it'll show how intense it is. Theirs is all this spiritual type conversation. So it's like if you want to have like an awakening experience, it's 4. If you want to have like a chill, relax, it's 3. Whatever. So we take this, and she literally is like seeing the purple cat, dude. Like she's like
No
the
way.
fucking walls are breathing. She said the ground. I'm like, we come back from a walk, and she was just like, and like, sorry, honey, I'm just telling a story and shit. She's not even here, but she like literally was like at the front door, and I'm like, honey, you need to go to bed. I'll take care of the kids, because like she's lighter than me.
That's
She's like
funny.
5'1", and I'm
Yeah,
5'8",
she's
and she's
tiny.
she's tiny, right? So I was okay, and plus with the kids, and I like to be very responsible. I don't like doing anything, especially that is going to be prohibiting from the perspective of being responsible for, especially with the kids and being an adult. So I took responsibility on that, and then it was just like this wave up and down, the whole nine, purple cat, whatever else.
Hmm.
And long story short, what I'm getting at is I can imagine for your product, this is a little bit of like kind of like giving you feedback as far as the packaging, like
Yeah.
maybe having a card or something that kind of they can read with the intention on the card that you put in there. So then when they take it, they read the intention, and then it's subconsciously in the back of their mind that potentially can open their brain up to other opportunities of like expansion from the perspective of growth.
I really like that idea.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
think that's great, and I have a bunch of golden nuggets to give. So,
That's what I'm saying, because you're just giving a bunch of gold nuggets now.
yeah.
So I'm like, how could you give the golden nuggets where like you could even do something like
Mhm.
in the package, you could even do a golden ticket.
Yeah,
If they find the golden ticket, they would get like the next free order.
definitely. Also, since we're speaking of golden nuggets,
Yeah.
I've been working on a ritual, right?
Okay.
And I put it in my blog. So it's
Mm-hmm.
philosophersfuel.net dot mindforge ritual,
Really?
right? So
Okay.
go check it out.
Okay.
It's 7 steps. I'm all into alchemy. I'm all into transmutation and really understanding how the human body works, how our mind works.
Mm.
So go in there, check it out, and give me some feedback. Hit me up on Elevate with Fuel on Instagram or something.
Links
Let me
down
know.
below.
Yeah, let me know what you think about that.
Because this is a community thing too. So in the comments below, because the product isn't to go to market yet, and if this is
Hmm.
something that you're wanting to get behind, you want to check out, you want to add value to, like send a DM to
Yeah, and
DJ.
we also are taking applications for our affiliate program too.
Okay.
So you have the potential to make 25% per life for the life of the customer.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, think about it. You sell 100 bottles a week, that's $1,500. I mean,
That's huge.
let's go.
Let's go. I love that. So let's get into on this segment a little bit of alchemy, and how did you get into alchemy,
Mm.
getting into this esoteric? Like, what
Well,
opened your mind to?
so growing up, I grew up in North Carolina.
Mm.
I was born in Wattville, North Carolina, and I
I
could
hear the
put on it.
twang.
I could put it on. I mean, I'm from there, but let me tell you. So, like, I grew up Southern Baptist,
Okay.
right? And I've read the Holy Bible. I love the King James Version.
Mm.
I like the old school stuff a little bit better than this
Mm.
NIV and stuff. But one thing really stuck out to me. I've read the Bible several times.
Okay.
I've gone through the Gospels tons and tons. Like one time, I just stayed in the Gospels for almost a year, going
Wow.
back and forth through them, studying them. And one thing really stood out to me with reading the Holy Bible, and what stood out was it said, "Seek wisdom." You know that it was better
Mm.
than gold. It was
Mm.
better than white gold, which had been refined so much that it was
Mm-hmm.
white. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and I did exactly that. I started reading other religious texts,
Mm.
not you know per se worshiping it,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but I was definitely reading it,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes I felt when I read that, I actually going to tell you how I feel. I would feel bad for reading another religious text, but I quickly
Mm.
got over that, because I grew up Southern Baptist. This hellfire and brimstone, like my I mean, I
They
love a good Southern Baptist sermon,
indoctrinated you.
but yeah, I was highly indoctrinated as a child, but they taught me some really good things.
Mm-hmm.
And so that started my search. I read some other religious texts, even read the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita. I don't even think I'm saying that right, but I read it. And I started diving even deeper. I started reading some books like written before 1884
Hmm.
and stuff like that. And
Interesting.
so what happened after 1884 is they started destroying these books because knowledge is power.
Yeah.
So I started finding some books that were really old and they're really hard to get. So if you get any book, it doesn't matter what it is before that, it's gold. So, but I was searching, right?
Mm.
Same thing when I was searching for these ingredients, I started searching with
Mm-hmm.
all of my soul, with all of my might, because I felt something. I knew that God existed and I felt something and He called me to learn more,
Mm.
right? And so I just kept searching. And then I got into alchemy. I started reading some alchemy texts. I started reading some esoteric knowledge. I'm going to drop a little golden nugget. If you really want to have your mind blown, read Helena Blavatsky's The Secret Doctrines.
Mm.
If you really want to have your mind blown.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. No, I love that. And, it's interesting because they feel like with, because we're a segment of religion. No,
Yeah. We're not talking about religion
no, no,
over here,
no.
guys.
Well, there's religion and then there's like being spiritual. I think spiritual and
Definitely.
religion are two different things. Spiritual is from the perspective of
Hmm.
something that you feel and you can't see, and there's nothing to be read.
That's right.
And religion is something that you can read and something that you can follow and
Hmm.
something that you can get behind from perspective of church or community of
Yes.
people. Now, of course, on the spiritual side, you can also get together and meditate and totally
Definitely.
transcend and what have you. And I feel that like
Mhm.
they indoctrinate us because they don't want us to cross the line of other religions because
They
if you
don't want us to know.
because
They don't.
from your finding, would you say that majority of what you found to
They're
be
almost identical. They're almost identical. And it's because a lot of them were, so say we're living 1,000 years from now. We don't have phones. We don't have internet.
yep,
How do we get information?
books,
Books, storytelling,
yep,
a lot of storytelling. So you can imagine how a story can change from Egypt to Florida. I mean, think about how much a story can change from there to there.
yeah. Think about in grade school.
Yeah.
There's a round robin, the circle of kids.
Yeah, definitely.
one kid says one thing, it's only
Hmm.
12 kids or even whatever, 10 kids. And
Yeah.
then by the time it gets back to the teacher's like,
Hmm.
nope, that's not what I said.
Right, right. And then, but the cool thing about that is there's something else that speaks to your spirit. And I
Hmm.
want to tell you that your spirit and your soul are two different things, guys.
Interesting.
And I'm not even going to tell you that. I'm going to make you do some searching yourself. Go find out what the difference between a soul and a spirit is. But before
Mm.
we do that, I just want to say that yes, you can read all the books you want to about spirituality, about alchemy, about esoteric knowledge, but if you don't build it in yourself, then you won't understand the readings.
Yeah.
You won't understand it.
Amen.
And it was made to be like that. It was made to be like that.
Which is interesting because like back in the beginning of the show, we're talking about how everything is one, right? And then it's
The
just
all
like
is one.
all is one. So it's just like
Hmm.
you're almost like self-sabotaging yourself by like not wanting to like put the knowledge out there, right? And
Yeah,
then it's like
definitely.
and you think that like, oh, you just have like, they say like the Illuminati, whatever, like, this
Oh, we can talk.
elite group, right? It's like,
We can talk. I just want to. I'm not going to say anything about the Illuminati or these other what people call cults or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I'm not going to say anything bad about them, but I want to tell you they have these things called initiations, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to tell you, and they might come after me for this,
Nah, you're good.
that true initiation comes from the universe. It doesn't come from a group of people.
Exactly. And I feel like individuals can just go deeper into meditation and honestly in self.
Yeah.
And once you go deeper in self, because we move so fast and because
Hmm.
everything's so dense and we're bills, traffic, cars, kids, whatever,
Hmm.
spouse, date night, you got a lot going on.
Yeah,
So that's
definitely.
that's when they
And you
say
get
like you
lost.
get lost.
You get lost. And that's kind of why I wrote that blog over the last 7 days.
Hmm.
I really want people to shed some beliefs. I really want people to just really open up, uh,
Mm-hmm.
become aware that you are capable of a lot more.
Yeah. Amen.
You really are.
100%. 100%. I think we've said that in multiple different types of ways. You getting it yet? No.
We did. We did.
Same
We might
thing.
say it a couple more.
Yeah, a couple more, just so you know. But no, that's awesome. And, it is interesting because from my perspective, I've read a lot of other books. Like, I don't know if you've read, and maybe for you all that want to read this as well, like Paul Selig, I Am Word. I have I Am Love with the Heart on Me.
I haven't read that book.
Paul Selig, he is someone that does channeled text.
Okay.
So channeled text, channeling from spirit, higher self,
Oh,
call
cool.
it what you will.
Yeah.
Paul Selig has a series of books. There's 7 of them that I read. I don't know if you know who Abraham Hicks is, Law of the Universe. That's another one as well
Hmm.
that's channeled text. My wife and I got into a lot of channeled text and going down this esoteric route and learning about, just going more into like the depth of like the universe,
Hmm.
universal law, the laws that we
Like the seven hermetic principles.
something like that as well.
Yeah.
So it's not so much like the laws that we have, like, oh, don't speed, it's 25 miles an hour. Like, those aren't laws. Like, that's just like a dense reality of like, the
Paperwork.
paperwork, the government ordinance, you
Yeah.
getting a ticket because you spit whatever. There's universal laws.
Yes.
And so there's a whole list of books that I have, and I'll rattle off some just for the viewers and listeners that I have in my library. So like, so there's like the 3 waves of volunteers and the new Earth.
Hmm.
I don't know, who Dolores Cannon? Dolores Cannon is huge. If you don't know
I
who,
would definitely look it up.
once you look into Dolores Cannon, dude, you'll be busy for a while. Dolores Cannon was huge. Who's another one? So another Dolores Cannon book here, which is the secrets, the search for hidden secret knowledge. That's another one of
I
her
like that.
books. That's a good
I've
one.
heard of that one. Yeah.
Energy Speaks by Lee Harris. That's another one. The other one is The Wisdom Council by, do you know who Sarah Landron is?
I don't think so. No.
So if anyone follows me on Instagram, I share a quote because she does a quote a day. I have her email marketing campaign, and every
Okay.
single day I share a quote on my stories. So these are just a few people that, and it's funny because we're on different spectrums then, because I've gone down a different path
Yeah.
on this esoteric conversation,
Mm-hmm.
more on a channeled text sequence, because my understanding is that there's and we use this term, just we're gonna go off a deep end here, density.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Are you familiar with densities? There's like third dimension, density, fifth density, all the way up.
Okay.
And densities, they say like we're in the third density, which is like the physical plane of reality. And then the
Yeah, I
fourth
definitely
dimension,
understand what you're saying.
those concepts.
It it's pretty much the same thing as the planetary chains and how our globes go through these different cycles
Yes.
over millions of years.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
billions of years actually.
And then when you get into like the fourth or fifth,
They call it like nights and days of Brahma.
interesting. There you go.
Yeah.
So see, it's the same, but it's just like a different way of how we are explained it or how we learn it, but it's the
Mhm.
same difference. And basically, when you go up the level of density, they're saying that like it's less physical,
Yeah,
more
it is. It's
spiritual.
more ethereal.
Correct. And they
Yeah.
say that, in the next times that we're coming into, this is going real deep, we don't eat physical food anymore.
No, you don't need to.
We don't need to.
No.
It's more just drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes into this whole other thing because, I've done a lot of research too into other life forms outside of Earth,
Oh yeah, we're definitely not the only ones. I mean, that's kind of selfish. That's that trigger word again, of thinking that we could be the only intelligent beings. I mean,
Oh yeah.
come
There's
on, dude.
I honestly think we're just a science project, to be honest with you.
We might be. We
I
might just
think
be encapsulated in
I
this
just
globe.
yes. And from my understanding, from the teachings I've learned, we're set to live 125 years. That's in our DNA. And
Enormous metals.
can I get some? No. After the podcast, we'll talk about that one. But yeah, they're talking about the Palladians, and there's just like all these
Yeah.
different aliens out there,
Mm-hmm.
to look out for us too, because what also, they said back in the day when there was during the time, what was it like when there was nuclear warfare, and remember how they were, I don't know how long
Like
ago it
where
was.
while we have deserts now, and it's like in a big line through the whole globe.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, our ancestors, which you could say esoteric aliens, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
are trying to stop us because what you do here will cause an effect for the whole universe.
It will.
There's a ripple effect. We can't just set off fucking nuclear bombs and
No.
just think it's going to be okay.
Mm-mm.
Just like what's going on in the Syria and the stuff in the Middle East and all that war stuff. I think there's a lot that's there for us to be able to unlock knowledge,
Yeah.
but they keep on doing the bullshit there because they don't want us to be able to
Well,
have.
it's misinformation.
Oh my God.
There's so much misinformation on there, and it's to keep you guessing. It's
Hmm.
definitely to keep you guessing. It's to keep you off the path.
And you were obviously on because you're listening to this.
Definitely.
I don't listen to the news. I don't watch any of that bullshit.
Oh, and I'm giving away a free bottle to whoever
Ooh.
could tell me how many times I say definitely in this podcast.
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then for you, for your product, going back to it, curious, like, so you have like, you're making your own recipe right now because it's not manufactured yet, right? So you've been just doing your own
It
shit.
is at the manufacturer right now.
But before that, you were just making your own.
Yeah, I was definitely just taking a giant handful of medication every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pills?
And then mixing it up capsules.
Wow.
Yeah, and some in droplets and liquid.
Yeah. I like the liquid way better than the capsule
Yeah,
stuff.
and
I'm not a huge fan of that.
that's cool. I'm glad you said that because a month and a half after we drop next
Mm-hmm.
month, we're going to be coming out with the variant of Neuro Alchemy
Mm-hmm.
that has never a delivery system that has never been used in supplements.
Really?
Yeah,
That's freaking huge,
it's really
dude.
badass.
That's awesome. Well, I will say that, like, I don't put this out there publicly. I will say, just from the perspective of, yeah, obviously we're supporting, right? Because you're putting out on the show. And I like this to be the first ever that's a lot of people that have been on this show, first ever being on the podcast or sharing stories or what have you. So I'm obviously backing what you're throwing down. I'll be disclaimer, haven't tried it. So I haven't tried it. I'm not getting paid to say
You will, though.
anything.
You
I
will.
appreciate that. And I would love to be a supporter and who knows, maybe an investor.
Hey, that would be great.
Yeah.
We're always looking for partners, but we're at a point where getting in early would be good for you, but we're also looking for like VC, some people, somebody that has done this before.
Yeah.
Definitely. So like, if
Which
you
makes a whole lot more sense.
yeah, and if you want equity, like it's definitely going to have to be some venture capital. I'm going to need some expertise and some connections.
Yeah, for sure. And also making sure that whoever it is, they don't murky the water.
That's the thing. A lot of times when you're giving away equity, you lose control of the image that you want to have. You lose control of your product. You lose control. So it better be a good deal.
Yeah, needs to be a good person,
Yeah,
ethical
yeah, very
person,
good deal.
smart person. Like, yeah, there's going to be
Yeah,
a lot of, ticking
and
off the
I'm
boxes.
very good at reading people, so don't bring your BS to me.
I like that, dude. I like that. Let's freaking go. Let's go. No, it's cool because this is I look at this as like an infant, dude. It's so exciting because it's so new and fresh.
It
And it's
is.
like, where's this gonna go? What's gonna happen? How's it gonna work? I don't know. But this is gonna be cool to watch it.
It is. So like, it took me a long time to. So let me tell you how you achieve stuff, guys and ladies. So a lot of times what happens is you'll have this big goal, right?
Mhm.
You'll have this big goal, and that's exactly what you focus on. You focus on the end achievement. Then you start thinking of all the millions of things you have to do to get there. What
Mm,
happens when you start getting anxiety on your beautiful dream and your beautiful goal? What happens? It
procrastination,
diminishes, right?
diminished
It
returns.
just diminishes everything that you have to do, right? You
Yeah.
just like don't get the motivation to do it,
Mm-hmm.
you know? I'm not saying don't think on the end goal, but
Mm.
don't think of everything you have to do. All it takes is a few little habits every day to get to where you want to be.
Oof.
Just take the intentions and then take whatever kind of thing you're going through, turn it into that fire and fuel that flame every day. Do something for it every day.
Yes,
Yeah.
dude, I love that. Let's go. So there's a book out there called The Compound Effect, and it talks about that. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's the incremental, small, tiny little wins
Yeah.
that will compound into before you know it. You're like, holy cow! And that's what's happened with Liftoff Agent. Like we're now,
Definitely.
15 of us and almost 500 agents across the country, and
Mm-hmm.
we're seeing this momentum, and it's like it's amazing. I mean, Jen, who's helping us produce podcasts behind the scenes, she's out there reaching out, doing her
Right.
KPIs, looking at agents, she's crushing it. And on top of that, she met with Robert yesterday, and I
Mm-hmm.
rewatched the video, and we haven't really had time to really talk about it. But it was like, pinch me. This is fucking
Yeah.
awesome, dude.
I,
Like, like when you start to see the momentum, and you're like, wow, and then you get to help other people in the process, and like, let's all win. Let's
it
go. Let's
is
lift off.
like I'm really glad you ended with that. Let's all win,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Definitely, because when you have everybody that's focused on one goal, anything is possible. I mean,
Anything is
definitely.
possible.
And I'm glad I have a gift for you too. I want to connect you with some really high performing realtors on the East Coast before I leave today.
Thank you. Now I'm gonna take it to the next level.
Hmm.
Don't connect me. I want you to connect Jen.
Okay, I'll connect Jen.
And so Jen can get the kudos, and
That's
she's
right.
producing the podcast, and I don't need the credit.
Yeah,
Let's give Jen the credit
let's
because
go, Jen.
she's looking out right now for
You.
she's prospecting right now, so she wants her first deal
Give me
closed.
one
So
second. I'm just gonna take a little quick stand, real quick.
go ahead, stand up. Which is totally cool. And as he's standing, I want to go ahead and I want to put this out there for him. What I want to do is I want to see that DJ puts out his personal Instagram account. And so we're going to post this podcast. We're going to do 3 shorts on Instagram. And I would love to see you have your personal account go live. So you can basically have this be collaborated with the Liftoff Experience, with Phil Alchemy account. And I also want to see it with your personal Instagram. And I think this would be a great Kickstarter for people to be able to see you out there more. And honestly, I think what you could do, and this is completely the polar opposite of what you're doing, is when you go to the manufacturer or you're taking this stuff, like get on your stories and start sharing this stuff with people
Yeah.
and share what you're doing and give them more behind the scenes. Because the one thing that comes up for me from just full transparency,
Mm-hmm.
looking at your social media, looking at the Instagram account and not seeing anything
No
from
faces.
you and any faces,
Yeah.
it makes me feel like, I don't know.
Well, dude, let me tell you. So You know, I rescheduled this podcast once already, right?
Did we have to go there?
Yeah, I had to go there because I'm gonna be authentic and be real about my fears, right? So my fears are doing exactly this, putting my face to my brand. My fears are public speaking. I get a lot of anxiety, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a lot of other stressors, but I'm just so glad that you gave me the opportunity to reschedule to be here because I'm breaking through. I'm lifting off.
Let's
I'm
go.
transmuting this fear into action today.
Let's
You
go.
know,
Hey, you're seeing it
yo,
live on the show.
yo.
No joke. You know what I'm saying? And you
And I
are,
had every reason to reschedule again after this wreck, you know, but I didn't let myself do that.
and he even was
You
trying,
know,
he was, it said, show up early. He's like, I'll be
like
there at 1. I'm like, bro, your show doesn't
an
start until
hour early.
2. I'm like, you can show up at 1:45, bro. It's fine. And then he drove 2 hours out. He's sitting in this couch, you know, dealing with what he's dealing with, and he's still making it happen. And then you're coming out and you're being transparent and
Yeah.
just inspiring anyone who's viewing and listening right now to be like, dude, what's your excuse? You got to keep moving forward.
You I know you sent me an email a couple months ago to get on the show, and you said that you wanted me to drop a golden nugget,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you that golden nugget,
Let's go.
and it's kind of more than one nugget, all in one. So I'm gonna do an Elon Musk real quick. Hold on. Know how he thinks like that before he speaks. So we talked a lot about, you know, infusing blessings in your food, right?
Mm.
And this pertains to this. So your tongue is a double-edged sword. You can either curse or bless something,
Mm.
right? I wanted to tell you though, it goes further than that. Your thoughts also matter,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here to tell you today that we can turn your negative self-talk around. We can make it to where you manifest the life that you want by how you talk to yourself today. For real.
I love that. I love that.
And so there was going to be a couple nuggets, right?
Yeah.
So you ever heard of the saying that when a student is ready, the master will appear?
Mm.
You ever heard that? Or they say
Mm-hmm.
the teachers will appear, but I
Mm-hmm.
always say the master. So during this time of searching through all this knowledge, and I haven't stopped, I search all the time. I still read every day,
Mm.
especially right before bed. You know, that's one of my habits that I put into this new lifestyle that I'm building for myself. But I'm here to tell you, like, don't search for that teacher because the teacher and the master is inside of you. You are the master. For real.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. And this is, I'll take it to the next step to add some value to that gold nugget is that every single thing that you see in front of you is what you've manifest.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's a book, doesn't matter if it's a YouTube video, a podcast like you're watching right now, you've
Mm-hmm.
manifested this.
Yeah.
And the fact that you manifested this, that means you're on the right track and this is what you're supposed to see because
Mm-hmm.
this is where you're at today.
Yeah. So, like, when I first met you, I went to one of Travis Brady's events. He throws badass, life changing events. I don't know if I can cuss, but I'm
You're good, bro.
yeah. So when I went to this event, I actually was some situations in my life at that time were trying to put me in a bad mood before I came to that event,
Mm.
and I didn't let it happen. Right when I
Yeah.
came to that event, I totally switched my mindset. I started the the bad negative thoughts were trying to come in,
Yeah.
right? They really were.
Yeah.
You know, they were trying to think about my situation. Oh, this is coming up. That's coming up. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I don't know how this is gonna happen. You know, the fear was trying to come in,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And the whole way the whole way up there, I put on some, you know, positive affirmations, right?
Ooh.
Business positive affirmations the whole way up there. It was an hour and a half, And when I got there, and Travis Brady's house is kind of the same too. Like the
Mm-hmm.
vibe, I mean, I love this vibe, and the vibe there is great as well. So like
Mm-hmm.
once I got in the door and all the people, you know, um, I manifested how I felt when I got there. And I'm sure, and I know for a fact, if I didn't have that type of energy, you wouldn't have been attracted to come and talk to me
Mm-hmm.
and invite me on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know that I was just starting that brand. And I think it was maybe 6 months ago that I met you.
Maybe something like that. Yeah.
Maybe 6 months ago.
That's crazy.
I had just I had just put in for the patent pending. I
Mm.
had just put in for the patent for this formula. So
Wow.
it was still like a very beginning idea,
Yeah.
and now it's going to be out. So I'm just grateful that I know that if I bring that positive mindset, if I bring the good intentions, if I bring that authenticity,
You got it.
that anything can happen,
Amen.
just like this.
100%. I love it, man. I love it. And yeah, I'm always just open, and I let personally like life happen for me for a reason.
Hmm.
And I try not to label or think too much about anything. I just go with the flow, and then it just kind of happens. And I think that one thing for, gold nugget for our viewers and listeners out there is like, take an audit. We do it all the time.
Definitely.
Jokes aside, Jen and I audit agents all the time, because they don't really take an audit of their own
Hmm.
business. So we help them with a digital audit. But take an audit of yourself. And here's the checklist. Take an audit of what are you listening to
Hmm.
and the lyrics.
Right.
Just because
Oh,
it
the
has a good
lyrics. Oh,
because it has a good beat, don't mean that it's, good lyrics. So
and
lyrics.
then you got to think of the frequency if it's a 808 or something
What's the
like that.
frequency of the music? What's the
Ugh.
lyrics of the music? Like people don't even think about that. There's
Yeah.
a frequency and there's
Or you're
lyrics on the
gonna have a
music.
bad day.
Yes.
Straight
Yes.
up.
Yes. The house, like your house, is it clean? Is it messy? Or is
Hmm.
it like clean and put together nicely? You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? And like, can you chill? Can you take the vibe and change the vibe? At
Hmm.
night, we have this whole house is just a bunch of lights and it's super chill and it's just like a dope vibe. So can
Yeah.
you change the vibe of your house? What does it look like with your car? Is your car clean? Is it
Hmm.
messy? What does the inside look like? Because if you take a mental checklist and your house is messy, your car is messy, maybe your brain's messy, maybe you're not thinking clearly, maybe you need to clear out that energy of your vehicle. And then go to the next step. Okay, what does it look like with your people that you're around, your friends, your family, the people that you're around? Do you need to take an audit of them and step back for a second? Are you reading? Are you listening to anything on YouTube? What videos are you watching? Are you
Hmm.
emulating the people that you want to be around? And as soon as you start taking this checklist of
Hmm.
those 7 different things, you could be like, all right, I'm going to start off with first off the music. Then after the music, I'm gonna clean up my house. I'm gonna clean up my car. I'm gonna get all that
Hmm.
stuff done, and then I'm gonna take it one step to the next level as far as auditing my friends, my family, the people I'm around. And it's okay. People come for a season to just take a step back and get people out of your life, not out of your life, but just give them an arm's length. Like
Yeah.
take a break from someone for a week or two and see how you feel.
Hmm.
Right? Go to a new location and just try to give yourself an opportunity to get a different perspective. And
Hmm.
I like everything off intuition and feeling.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. Uh, if something, so this is how I make decisions, right? A lot of people don't listen to their heart, and they'll listen to their brain, or listen to their greed or their ego.
Friends.
So let me tell you how to make a true decision. And I'm not telling you that the outcome is going to be exactly what you want, but it will be what is right. So if you think of a question that you have to make a decision, and if you feel good in your heart, it's the right decision. If you feel bad, any amount of bad or negative feeling, it is the wrong decision. Straight up.
Dude, I freaking love that. And that reminds me of a book that I'm reading right now. It's your three best superpowers. You want to know what they are? Here's your three best
Let's
superpowers.
go.
Your meditation,
Mm-hmm.
your imagination, and your intuition. So when you slow down, you meditate,
Mm-hmm.
you can then be able to imagine. When you're meditating, you can imagine your life and what you're doing and what does it look like and the
Mm-hmm.
feeling behind it. Then you can trust your intuition, and the intuition is going to be your lighthouse. that helps guide you through whatever it is that you need to do. And I talked to my wife about this, and I think sometimes she gets a little frustrated because she wants to grow her tea company.
Mm-hmm.
And my buddy Jason, I got to fill out some forms because he wants to run some ads for us. Liftoff agent's hard for ads because it's all real estate stuff.
Yeah.
But products, could be better. So my wife has products, a tea company. So I said, hey, what was your
Dude,
intuition?
she takes tea to a different level. I don't know if the viewers have seen some of her stuff, man. Wow. I mean, it is absolutely amazing what she's doing with tea.
I feel like, and I really appreciate that. I feel like people are slowly getting there because everyone was like coffee, sugary drinks, stuff like
Yeah.
that. They're not used to like 0 calories,
Mm-hmm.
unsweetened like beverages like tea can be for someone out there. And it is absolutely delicious and it's a staple in our house. And so I was like, what is your intuition when it comes to like running the ads with Jason? And she said she came from more of the ego from the perspective like, oh, I don't know, it's just gonna cost more money, it's just a waste of time, blah blah. And I was like, so why don't you slow down a little bit, And she said, well, I
Mm-hmm.
just haven't really thought about it because the family's here and this and that and everything else, and that's where meditation comes in. So sometimes we need to slow down because we could be so much in our logical brain that we need to slow down and just be a little bit more like just slow down, take a deep breath,
Right.
try to meditate for a second.
There's a saying in the Bible that just came to me right now, and it says, "Be still and know that I am God." You know, for real. So like, um, there's also another verse. I can't name the verse or anything like that, but
Yeah.
so when and I'm not getting religious. I'm just telling the story. So, uh, when Jesus went and was exorcising demons,
Hmm.
right? When he was getting demons out of people,
Hmm.
uh, the disciples came to him and said, "How do you do this? How can you do this?"
Hmm.
And it says, uh, "This too comes with prayer and meditation." You
Hmm.
know,
I
so
love that.
and it's crazy how I meditate a lot, and how I learned to meditate was I had some very traumatic things happen as a child, and I'm not going to get into too much detail, but how I got over that, I went through several psychologists and therapists to help me get over the traumatic experiences I experienced as a young kid.
Hmm.
And I had this one lady, and she was very spiritual. Like, you went into her office, and there's all these crystals, kind of like your desk right
They're
now.
all around you.
Yeah, they're everywhere. All these crystals, and the vibe was just amazing. And I went in there, and she gave me these really old tapes. I don't know if some of you millennials out there know know about cassette tapes, but we had cassette tapes, and I put them in my little Walkman as a kid. Boom, and they taught me how to meditate, right? And
Mm.
and they were progressive. It taught me more advanced ways of meditation, to the point where I could do you know, astral projecting, or imaging, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um, and so during that, when you're still, a lot of times, people, they come to me and they say they can't meditate. I'm gonna just tell you a really quick way to meditate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody is like thinking that meditation, you're trying to get out of yourself, but the best
Mm-hmm.
way to get out of yourself is to get into yourself, right?
Mm.
So when you're laying down, I want you to start with your feet, and it's called deep relaxation. I want you to start with your toes, and you concentrate on so you're like actually thinking about your body. You're thinking about your toes and how relaxed you could get them. You go down to your heels, your your ankles, your thighs, up to your stomach, to your arms, to your hands, your jaw. And once you do that, then you start to breathe, right? I mean, you're breathing the whole time, but when you're fully relaxed, you start to breathe, and then you encapsulate yourself in your positive energy, right?
Mm.
Then after that, you take it baby steps. If you want to astral project, then you picture yourself beside yourself, maybe 2 feet away.
Mm.
And then next thing you know, you'll see that you're no longer looking at your room through this point in the world right now,
That
this
perspective, yeah.
position, you're starting to see that you're seeing it from another position, and
Interesting.
you have astral projected.
I
Pretty
love
cool.
that. If you like that and something you want to try, would love to get your feedback. I actually just sent you a gift, and the gift that I just sent you was the nervous system reset, 10-minute anxiety relief. And so I actually gave it to Jen
Thank you.
too, because Jen, of course, Jen, and this guy has a ton of amazing meditation breath works. I do the Wim Hof breathing every morning, plus with the red light therapy, and then I have like the grounding mat as a part of my, and I even have a grounding mat on my bed when I sleep at night to then ground myself.
That's another conversation we could have about grounding, bro.
Yeah, every single day.
Wow.
And so I gave it to Jen. She tried it, slept, fell asleep, and then tried it again. That kind of helped. I'm over here freaking, I'm pilling like crazy. My wife's gonna have fun pilling me up. She loves. She was like, "Oh, you pilling? Let me pick it off you." I'm like, "What the heck?"
You should make a video with that. You know how like people are like, you know how they have the Laffy Taffy, how it's
Yeah.
peeing, or people throwing bottles down the stairs.
Dude, my daughter was watching some video. They were like running stuff over. I'm like, "What are you watching? What is
Yeah.
this?" She's all, I looked up satisfying video.
Yeah.
She was like being satisfied by like it was like bananas getting ran over, bread being ran over. I'm just like, what the
It's
heck?
crazy the things that kind of like relax our mind and make us like focus on it. You know?
Yeah. Exactly. No, I really am curious, and I want to hear from y'all who's actually viewing and listening. I want to hear from you because I feel that, and this is crazy. I'm going to tell you right now, we've already been on for almost 2 hours.
Wow. Are you serious? You said it was
It's
gonna go fast, but dude.
it's been almost 2 hours. Okay. And so, Jen, don't lie. So, I want to know from our viewers and listeners if they want us to do round two because there's so much that you didn't get into, and I feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg, just to start to like crack the egg. When I haven't really like we haven't even started frying it yet. So to really get
Yeah.
into your story from a child and things that you've gone through and everything else, and I think that
Okay.
like the thing is that I would love this to be the catalyst, a vessel for individuals out there to be like, holy shit, like I am going through that or I've been there, and then
Yeah.
they can then gravitate to your story, that can gravitate to different things that you've done from meditation or the way you've navigated your life to get to where you're at today.
Yeah.
So
To
let
give
us.
them the keyword hope. Right.
Amen, dude.
That's what I am. I'm a hope dealer.
Ooh, I'm not a dope dealer. I'm a hope
I'm a
dealer.
hope dealer for real.
That's super sick, dude. I love that, man. I love that because why we're here and why we're living, it's like, why don't we just enjoy
Yeah.
life by design? Have fun with it.
Definitely.
There's no reason to make it any more, than it needs to be, tough or whatever you want to say. Just enjoy it, and if you're not enjoying what you're doing in your life, then you're listening to this for a reason.
Hey, that's right.
Time to start enjoying. But
Get
yeah,
to it.
man, this has been a pleasure, and I'm super excited to see the launch, see where that goes. I'm excited to see. I remember when we met in the back of your picture, the background was like a Ryra, I think it was,
Oh,
or was it
what?
Pagani? What kind of car was it? The Pagani
It was a Koenigsegg Jesco.
Koenigsegg Jesco. If you know what that is, that's what, 2.3 million?
It's like 3.2.
$3.2 million vehicle. This guy had in the back of his picture. So
I'm manifesting.
he's manifesting. And at the end of the day, when you're showing up and you're serving and you're supporting others, that is a lot. And I'm sure you're going to get it. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's going to come.
I really want to be able to help more people. That's the whole reasoning for all of this. I just want to help more people. I have big ideas to help in the community in Phoenix and in Tucson to help others that have gone through similar struggles as me. So,
And that's where I feel like we need to have round two to go into all the
Definitely.
struggles.
yeah.
I think that's going to be round two, so we can go deeper into the struggles. You guys and gals out there who are viewing and listening can really be able to like relate to it. And at the end of the day, it's like the number one thing that comes up for me in life is about helping others. And if you're not helping others and you're dealing with things of self-doubt, self-limiting beliefs, anxiety, all the type of stuff, once you are free, you get past yourself, then you find out that it's your mission and it's your vision and it's your duty to look out for and to serve others.
It is.
100%.
Service is the key.
Hey, if you need, bro, we got a massage chair. We'll get you a massage real quick
Oh, I'm definitely hitting that
before you leave.
this.
Let's get it done.
Let's go.